right, welcome back. Welcome back. This video should be a good one. All right, my fellow plebs. A lot has unfolded this weekend, and I've got a lot to talk about. This should be exciting. The tides are turning. I mean, this pendulum, it's about to swing back hard. There's so much to talk about. I'm not even sure where to start. Well, first of all, hopefully you guys are all right on the West Coast and in Texas, right? You know, hopefully you guys were prepping because I've been talking about that for years. You know, you crazy preppers, you crazy people. Especially in the private group, I've been telling you guys you need a generator in case the power goes out. And it's funny because them Texans, they're always bragging about how they have their own power grid. We got our own power grid. We're going to be doing great. Yeah, well, until it gets a little cold, right? Apparently it went down. And I did not even know this, that they have a bunch of wind turbines. Apparently they all froze. So much for that green energy independence. They're gonna amp up nuclear energy, and good, because we have some stocks for that as well. So hopefully you guys are doing all right out there. By the way, it's not that serious. I think it's serious because the power grid is not. It exposed its weaknesses, right? Hopefully they'll patch that up, and also they don't have anything for the roads. I mean, where I live up north, I mean, it's constantly like this, like for a solid 4 months. And we just drive in it like it's nothing. When we get snow and ice, it's like a controlled slide drive all the way to work and back and home. Anyways, so where else to start? There's a lot of exciting things on the horizon here. All right, so first of all, not financial advice. Consult your licensed financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Everything I talk about, it's my own opinion. I could be wrong. I can't be right all the time, even though I am pretty good. Anyways, consult your licensed financial advisor. Do not invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. Do not have leverage. Do not have a margin account. No position sizing. If you don't know these things, you're just gonna get raped. Don't play with options if you seriously don't have like 7 years experience. I could say those, okay? Because everyone knows this. These are the pitfalls you go through when you first start investing, this and that. For most of you, it's probably would behoove you to maybe look at some physical assets for long-term hold, not have margin, not have leverage, and just buy and hold. Also for tax purposes, like you got to hold for a year and not sell any of it if you don't want to get hit with the cap gains. But consult your accountant and your licensed financial advisor. I'm not one. I mostly am here to teach you how to trade and listen to me rant about this I don't know, this dystopian clown world we live in, which is all intertwined with markets and economics and culture, and I don't even know anymore. Listen, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. All right, that's all you need to know. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. Robotics, it's really advancing, and listen, once they start building themselves, a lot of you are going to be on UBI. Okay, so Schiff, and I know like the crypto people, it's like holy water to like a vampire when they hear him. I don't understand these emotions involved with people. I see it in my private group, like emotions. And it's pathetic. You cannot have any emotions involved in anything, especially when it comes into investing and what's going on in this world today. Like, learn to meditate or some shit. Go work out. but and pick up habits that are good for you, not bad. These are not the times to have bad habits. If you have bad habits, when shit really starts hitting the fan, it hasn't yet. This is just like the preview, the trailer. Last year and the beginning of this year, it's just a trailer of what's to come. But anyways, Schiff, yeah, I get it. He doesn't agree, and he's missed out. Listen, when I was watching Schiff like in 2010, he was talking about Bitcoin in 2010 when this thing was like under $10. It's funny. Anyways, but that doesn't mean he's wrong about other things, right? He did a good podcast on talking about the trade deficit. And I've talked about that for years, and that's the Achilles heel to the United States. And that's why the dollar and all of it's going to, really be a big issue. Because currency is just a measuring stick, and it measures what? Productivity and the creation of goods and services. Well, most services in the U.S. and around the world are going to get replaced with algorithms. You don't really need all these people paper shuffling. And I say this to you because you have to understand that as well. If you have a job that's going to get replaced. Another thing is, if we don't make much in the U.S., we just print currency. Again, currency is a measuring stick. It's not wealth. Wealth, it only really comes in two forms. First form is productivity, making things. And energy, right? Energy independence, that helps. Because if you have energy independence, you can make more things and then export it to the world. And that's when the wealth comes into your country. Well, the orange dude he tried, he talked about it. He didn't really do much on that front. He did a little bit, he did something, and that helped, but that was pretty much all undone in the past few weeks. And yeah, the shipping containers are piling up, and the freighters, the big freights that carry the thousands of shipping containers, there's like a long line on the coast of California trying to bring goods in, but nothing's coming back except maybe garbage. That is what undermines the dollar. That's the problem. Okay? And I've talked about that for years. And here's a picture of it. I posted in the NewsRoom article. People who talk about inflation don't know what the hell they're talking about, who say there is no inflation. Yeah, because it just doesn't happen overnight. $20 back in 1932 bought you 482 gallons of gas, 427 gallons of milk, 675 dozen eggs, 2,700 first-class stamps. Today, a $20 Fed note, promissory note, not backed by anything anymore since 71, 7 gallons of gas, 6.3 gallons of milk, 10 dozen eggs, 40 first-class stamps. And, this probably isn't even updated. It's probably even less than that. There is no inflation. Okay. Yeah, sure. Americans are starting to become nomads. Like, they're buying trailers and just driving around. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to lock these people down. Can't lock me down if I don't have anywhere to be locked in. Yeah. What else? Where else can we go? Stop watching TV. It's a waste of time. It's poison for your mind. Whatever you put your attention span and brain towards, that's who you and what you become. Same with the food you eat. Brain consumes, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure on the numbers. Maybe like 30% or 40% of the calories you eat. Well, if you eat shit, you can't think. It's seriously that simple. You are what you eat. Listen, guys, like I said, there's nowhere to run and hide. All your data has been collected, and Minority Report is, another movie to predict, to pre-program you for what's coming. Although, listen, I wouldn't even worry about it. It's at the point where the only people who have to worry about it are people who have power. They're the ones who are, it's used against them. And that's why evil does prevail at the highest levels, if you know what I mean. Tim, Poole, Luke, they're like really coming around. I know they watch the stuff I post. That pendulum, it's starting to, it's pretty much stopped, and we're gonna see it swinging back where you're gonna see potentially, okay, because this nonsense world that we've been living in for quite some time now, it's going to go away once people get really angry and hungry and they really start hurting financially. Like, even the leftists, they're going to snap and they're going to be like, all right, enough with all this bull crap. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. Now I'm afraid of my future. And you're going to start seeing posts like this from the left, even. Like, where are my stimmy? We's hungry. Where's our stimmy? This is what we voted for. And it's when the pendulum's gonna start swinging back. And the powers to be are probably gonna lose control. And I'm pretty confident they are. And that's why I think they're gonna pass so much stimulus, they're not even going to care about the inflation it's going to bring and the bubble stock market. That's what I'm easing into, guys. And the reason they're going to do that is, well, they're afraid of the masses. They're really afraid. And that's why, the protection has stayed in that jurisdiction of the D and the C, and it's not for the right, it's for everyone. Because economically inflation's about to pick up, and it's going to be noticeable by even the normies. And it's probably, utilities, I told you, I've been warning you, they're going to go up, and they're already starting to explode in price. So, yeah. And that's why they're going to keep passing stimulus, because they can't stop. If they stop, the market tanks, and then it's even worse. And it happens real quick, like in weeks and months. And then all of a sudden, nobody has jobs who are even left, who have jobs. And that's when the middle class, that's what they're really afraid. The middle class, what's left of it, just getting evaporated. They'd rather have it evaporate slowly. So they'll just keep printing and sending out stimmies and UBI, even though that just buys time. And honestly, I don't even know how much time it's going to buy. I don't even know if it could buy another year. And that's scary. So that's why I try to start up the vacation land, because not only do you need to be like self-sufficient and out in the middle of nowhere, you need like a group of hardcore men, because shit's gonna really be it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be lit. And this is Florida, guys. Like it's back to normal. And what DeSantis is doing is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It's really growing on me. And you're going to start seeing this. All the states, the red ones at least, they're going to be protecting your second, your first, all your liberties and rights. And then you're going to see people moving Like the blue people are gonna move towards more blue areas, and the red people are gonna move towards more red, and that's gonna create boundaries, right? Which is it's better than I don't know, fighting. So listen, this is the big news. The LBMA, the London fix is pretty much out of silver. Those great podcasts I posted in the private group. And listen, the SLV fund, right, which is pretty much JP Morgan pretty much heads that up, and they supply them the physical. And JP has the largest physical hoard. I think it was over 100 billion or some ounces that they put into the SLV, and I think that was because of an emergency, because they really didn't have much or any left. And they came out, I guess, a few days ago, kind of an admittance that, hey, sometimes we might not have the actual physical in the SLV. And they pretty much hold most of the physical, and then the London fix, the LBMA fix, they also said, well, we don't really have much left. So what does that mean? And then also your supply distributors and your not brokers, but the people who supply you, who you call up to give you physical. It's skipping my mind right now. The biggest one, and the one who has the most physical, is pretty much running out. He only has 1,000-ounce bars, and even if he orders more, it's on back order till March. That's as of now. So if there's another FOMO into silver, that means it's back ordered till summer, and then after that, it's gone. There's no physical. What I'm trying to say is you're not gonna be able to get any more physical. Maybe for the rest of this year, and then after that, inflation picks up. It's over. You're not going to be able to get physical, which will break the metals market. Limit up, baby, on the futures. And if silver takes off, breaks at $30 right now, overnight it's at 28. It's Monday night, so today the markets were closed. Tomorrow the market's open. If silver takes off, I mean, it could squeeze all of the shorts, and then you get that short squeeze, and then there's no stopping it. And also, it's actually hard to find gold as well in the coins in the 1 ounce. And then if silver takes off, I mean, so will gold. And they're not going to be able to stop it. And I'll talk more about gold and silver and the mining stocks. I'll talk about Bitcoin as well. I'll talk about oil. Energy emergency, Texas Power. Yes. Copper. Copper's been taking off. I've been talking about this. I said this many times. All commodities are going to take off. All of them. They're all taking off. We'll look at some charts, but I didn't know this, but copper is besides the fact that they're going to try to do the summer infrastructure spending, and that's going to take a lot of copper, but copper is also good for it works just like gold and silver. It's antibacterial, and people spray them on masks and everywhere. And then they're using them during surgery. They should have made all the tools they use for surgery, right? They should be made out of silver, or at least copper. Anyways, all right. Let's talk about this guy, Gates. So I put out a tweet. I was like, billionaires, they should know better to not tell poor people, essentially the rest of the world, because everyone's becoming poor, to sacrifice, right? Especially if they're profiting off of all this. And I will give him the credit. He's got balls. He's got real balls. And then I was thinking, you guys have seen that movie Snowpiercer? It's a good movie, Snowpiercer. Anyways, they had these gelatin protein blocks that they gave to the plebs in the back of the back of the train, and it's kind of what he's doing, right? He's going to be making you synthetic meat and bug protein blocks, and who knows, they'll try to make it taste good. And then I was thinking, well, this is unbelievable because he bought up all of the farmland. He's the biggest farmland owner now in the U.S., in the world, actually. And then I was thinking to myself, maybe it's for the best. Because, I mean, look around, guys. Most people can't change a tire. They're worthless. I mean, and they've had it so easy, so good. I mean, hot shower. Everyone's got all this cheap energy, cheap electricity, practically free internet, heated home. And most people just don't do anything. They don't really contribute to society. Not everyone. I'd say about at least 40% people work hard and they still can't get by, and they work really hard and they do what they can. But not like it used to be, right? I mean, most people, their jobs are going to get replaced by robotics and algorithms anyways, so. And you got to feed them. Listen, me and my homies in the private group, we're not going to be eating synthetic meat because we're not going to have to. But the rest of the people, I mean, someone's got to feed them somehow, I guess. So, although there's plenty of land, if everyone just learned how to farm, you could take like a quarter of an acre and just have a little garden and a few chickens, right? And you'll be fine. You'll eat healthier. And you won't even have, medical bills. But, you go to Walmart and you see these blobs on these little scooters buying sugary drinks and I mean the vax, thinning out that herd. Maybe it's it is what it is. The universe has a sense of humor, and people have had it way too easy, and people are pretty stupid. Even the smart people, they're pretty stupid. So let it be. I say it's gonna happen. Whatever happens, happens. I just look out for myself and the people who are trying to look out for themselves as well. And even in the private group, I mean, people don't have patience. They don't pay attention to the things I post. And then they're like, oh my God, oh, that went up 5x. Oh, that went up 400x. Well, yeah, that's why I posted in the alerts, and you're supposed to pay attention. Don't get envious and greedy. Don't get envious and angry when you don't pay attention. I don't know. It is what it is. And I make these free videos for you guys. You guys think I make any off of YouTube? Maybe like $12 like every 3 months. Like that intro, that took me hours to make. This video, every video I make takes probably 3 to 4 hours because there's always technical difficulties. I have to prep a little bit, at least something. And then there's always something that happens. I have to upload, then I have to type all this crap. And nobody appreciates all the shit I make. They don't. A lot of you don't even give me thumbs up because you're a lazy piece of shit. And you know what's going to happen to those people when things get real hard. Yeah. So one day I'm just going to go away. And then you're on your own. And you might think I'm an ass. That's fine. I don't care what you think or what anyone thinks. The reason people come back to me is because I'm honest. And I give it to you exactly how I believe it to be. And it's maybe something you don't want to hear, but the only reason you don't want to hear it and you're emotional is because you're not ready and you're scared. Well, aren't we all? But Yeah, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there who play on people's emotions. They act outraged and this and that. They're not really that outraged. They're just using that so you feel like, oh, this guy's a good guy and we're in it together. No, it's bullshit. We're not in it. No one's in it together. That guy's not in it with you. I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, you have to take action yourself and do everything necessary to make it through this. And whoever makes it through this is going to be living large. Like, this wealth transfer that's about to happen. Like, guys, when all the silver's gone, the physical, all the gold's gone, the physical, where are these people going to go to save themselves? They have to go into mining stocks. How many people do you really think own mining stocks? Not many. It's the smallest group of investors. It's a very small niche community. What do you think is going to happen? Where's all that wealth going to transfer? To me and my homies in the private group. And maybe a few smart billionaires and millionaires, and that's it. Like, this is just the beginning. The party hasn't even started, but it might start this week if silver gets squeezed. I mean, so go to my website, sign up while you can, and get in while you can. Silver spreadsheet, dumping that now. Yeah, I like videos like these can be commonplace in cities. This was hilarious. Texas. Life shot of Texas. Because in Texas, we the best. Or that's not even how... Alright, so Rubino. I love this guy. He's like probably my favorite in the metals community and economics. Just the way he delivers messages and everything. His calmness. He's cool. He's just cool. He's like my favorite. But he said a lot of wise words, and I posted it in my newsroom, links below. All right. Snow NATO in Texas. Yeah, what Florida is doing is based. What else? Yeah, guys, inflation fears are really popping up. So, now here's what's tricky about this entire situation. The stock market is a giant euphoric bubble, right? I mean, it's insane. And I put a bunch of call options to short the market with inverse ETFs, and they're not just to profit when the market falls, it's to hedge my entire account, because you don't know when the music stops. And euphoric levels are off the Richter scale here on the charts. The sentiment, they had to literally update the chart because it was off the chart. Literally off the chart. So, like, but can it just keep going? Because here's the thing, they're probably going to do another stimulus, and probably this week they're going to like talk about it and roll it out. It's going to be like 1.9 trillion, the second largest stimulus package in US history. The last one was slightly larger, right? And that's what the market is expecting. And that's why it just keeps going higher. But will it be enough? Will it, it's pretty fascinating. So, let me keep talking about that. Okay, so Okay, let's look at the S&P because, well, here's the NASDAQ. It's the biggest bubble. Let's look at the NASDAQ. All oscillators pegged to the ceiling. This is a monthly chart. And look at this. I'm thinking they're gonna pass the stimulus because the people want it and they need it, right? Give them bread and circus. But can the market keep going higher? Yeah, it can, like Venezuela's. And if they pass the stimulus, it'll probably go a little higher for a little bit longer, I guess. But at the same time, there's a situation here where the 10-year yield is spiking because of the anticipation of endless stimulus. And when yields spike, that's what pricks the bubble. And it's at 1.2 for the 10-year yield. And what did I say? I said if it gets to like 1.45, and it's spiking so quickly, when the yields spike this quickly, it starts blowing shit up. like loans come due like instantly for brokerages, institutions, and people who have mortgages and auto loans and credit card debt. And if this thing just spikes the rest of this week all the way up to 1.45, that's going to trigger the market. So it's weird, right? So they'll pass the stimulus while the bond market is spiking, and then they'll try to cap it by printing even more money. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, maybe maybe the market will dump real quick and then it'll pop back up and it'll be super volatile. And then maybe it won't fall, but the yields will keep spiking, and then they'll pass the stimulus, and then they'll do QE again. And this entire time, as the market like whipsaws up and down, maybe the market will just keep shooting straight up to the moon. I don't know, guys. I think that entire time, metals might just start rallying, and there'll be nothing to stop metals from rallying because there's a shortage of the actual physical. And on top of that, they want to do the new Green Deal. Where are they going to get all the silver for all these solar panels and the EVs and infrastructure spending? Where are they going to get all the metal? Because it's going to take silver. And then you're going to see corporations who need the silver for servers and chips and computers and cell phones. And then they're going to start FOMO buying. And the catalyst for all this FOMO buying is the retail investors, everywhere talking about the squeeze in silver and the supply shock, right? The supply / demand shock. It can't be met. There's no supply. It's a very crazy environment. Either way, and here's another thing. There's a record of people short the market right now. So here's what I think they're going to do. They're going to pass the stimulus, and the powers to be, they're going to cause a squeeze on all the shorts, which if that happens, I mean, it could send the market shooting up like a rocket. It'll just, for the next like few weeks or months maybe even, and then all of a sudden spring, summer, it's gonna freaking dump. Like I'm telling you guys, we are in uncharted territories. And I really don't know what the market's going to do. All I know is I think metals are just going to keep going higher for a little bit, unless there's like the biggest market crash ever. But I doubt that's going to happen because they're not going to let that happen. So they're just going to do more stimulus and QE. So I guess the only bet is metals and commodities and even agriculture. I've put out for the private group agriculture and energy, right? All right. So let's keep looking at what else is going on. House price increases of 10%. Yeah, it's going to increase outside the cities. Going to continue probably. Oil surges to January 2020 highs amid Permian freeze supercycle. And not just that, I mean, oil's going into a bull market. Maybe the Nasdaq and these FANG stocks are going to go into a bear market while energy, metals, and commodities go into a bull market. We did see that in like 1999, 2000 during the dot-com bubble bursting, right? So that would be the perfect environment for us, for the private group, and maybe even crypto. So metals and crypto and energy and commodities. We're gonna. This might be like the wealth transfer year, the beginning of it, and it'll keep going for years on. But the biggest gains are made in the beginning, not in the middle of the bull market or at the end of the bull market. It's made right at the beginning. S&P futures hit record high. Oil soars as frozen chaos hits planes. Surge in bond yields. By the way, whatever is happening that I was just talking about, that's not just happening in the U.S. This FOMO for metals is going to be global. That's why I'm saying they can't really manipulate it or stop it. It's a global event. And, in the East, they really love metals. And China wants to do the One Belt, One Silk Road initiative, which is the biggest supply chain and trade route in the world, going all the way from China through, like Russia into Europe, and then all the way down to the Middle East and Africa, and then eventually South America. What do you think that's going to take? It's going to take endless metals. And honestly, I think they've already stripped themselves of resources because they had the giant ghost city build up, right? They built giant ghost cities. And so they've already depleted themselves. That's why they're the next rising power. And they have to be, I think, to survive and to save themselves and for the party to stay in power. The vitamin C, P, right? So if they want to stay in power and be the dominant in the world and do this global trade, they're going to suck up all the metals in the world. So, oh yeah, and then Putin, he announced a few days ago, I mean, they're totally off the dollar and they're going towards gold-backed and then some sort of crypto for the plebs. Here's the thing, guys. Kings and princes and upper class are in metals, and then there's the upper middle class. They'll be in crypto, and then the lower classes will have the Fed coin. That's kind of how I see the world in the future. Yeah, so there was a huge dump in the cryptos. I'll talk about that. I posted this. Will the stimulus be too big? Well, Janet Yellen and Powell, they're like, no, it won't be, and they're the ones in charge. I think they're going to go for the 1.9. And what's going to be crazy is they're going to do it again later this year. And then it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger until, I don't know, until bread is like $100. I don't know. All right, so let's look at some charts. Okay, we looked at yields. The VIX was destroyed last week. I'll talk about that in the private group. The dollar, it's at the 90 handle, just hanging on by a thread. I think when they pass that stimulus, it's going to fall. Also bullish for metals. I was hoping the market would correct within this time frame, and then it'll take metals down one more time, but it might not happen now, unfortunately. So I do change with the, I'm not going to keep, like I said, people in trading and investing, the ones who make it out and make a fortune are the ones who realize they're wrong sooner than later, and they adjust their outlook. And you can't 100% always be a crystal ball or an 8-ball. I'm not a prophet, okay? I know how to make profits, but I'm not a prophet. Okay? So as soon as you realize, okay, things are changing, the quicker you could change with the environment, the macro, with central banks and everything and the fundamentals, the better off you'll be. And this is also why I hold a core position in mining stocks. I've been profiting for weeks still. My account's been growing for the past 3 weeks. And that's because I have a core position. I only trade with like 5 to 15%, and I hold 5% cash or something like that. And this entire time, my core position's been making me money. Only noobs and idiots are all in or all out. That's stupid. All right. My opinion. Consult your licensed financial advisor with the ISO tie and suit. So I was hoping we would get this correction, right? It shoots back up and makes new highs. This still may happen, but I don't know, because it looks like they're rushing the stimulus because they're so afraid. So guess what is actually going to happen? Instead of this, it's going to be like this. Just a straight moonshot. I may be even wrong about that. Maybe the market will moonshot for a few days, a week, and then it'll actually drop just like this, and then kind of be super volatile for the rest of the year. Because, the NASDAQ might be popping. Well, this is the S&P 500 we're looking at right now. But if we look at the S&P 500, or the NASDAQ, the NASDAQ might pop. It might shave off 20% the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, but the Dow Jones and the S&P might stay up, sorta, and maybe the Russell, but the NASDAQ keeps tanking. I don't know, guys. This could get weird and crazy, because that has actually happened in the past, where the NASDAQ popped, but everything else was sort of fine, and commodities, oil, and everything else went up. And that might actually be what takes place this time. Yeah, here's the FANG index. Listen, there's inverse ETF to be short the NASDAQ and the FANG index. And that's what I look at in the private group. To hedge my portfolio, my entire portfolio. Because if these pop and fall, but the rest of the market doesn't, then actually it's not just a hedge, but I'm going to make massive gains. Here's the Russell 2000. Dow Jones. All right, let's move on. This is getting long. Oh God, 44 minutes. Here's Apple, Amazon, Alphabet. Looking pretty ridiculous on the weekly. I mean, this is... I should have included Tesla. Alright, platinum. Months ago, I was talking about platinum. I even posted ETFs and some platinum stocks. If you paid attention, wrote it down, good for you. Maybe it's in the files folder for you private members. I'm not even sure. It came up on major resistance. Once it breaks this, once it gets, I'd say once it gets above 1400, it's going to run to all-time highs and then go higher, which is around 2200. Right now it's at 1300. And there's some opportunities in platinum. And platinum is going to do, it needs to catch up to gold, and it will. And you know what? Gold's looking like it's going to break out, so then it's really got a lot of catching up to do. Here's uranium. Awesome uranium stock in the file for the private members. Awesome. If you haven't been paying attention, I told you to buy some many months ago. I even talked about it. I even posted it before I wrote up a report, like in early, like, or late 2018. And that thing went up 200 or 300% already. I think it's going to be one of those that end up being like a 50, 100x or a 50 or 100 bagger. So, but here's the price of uranium on the futures. I mean, this thing could run. I mean, it broke out from a bear market. It made support at around $30. Once it gets above $40, it's just gonna run all the way up to, like, who knows, like $100, or it's gonna take that out in the coming years. Okay, and it'll be for energy, you know, because everyone's gonna need more of it. Natural gas. I talked about this many months ago, during spring. I said, hey guys, natural gas is going to break out eventually with the rest of the commodities, and it's out of a bear market officially now. This is nat gas. Weekly chart. Back in 2008, I mean, during that bear market, during the mortgage-backed security crisis, it went to $13. I mean, maybe it won't go that high, but I don't know. You don't know. With inflation, I mean, it could easily go to $10. It's at $3 right now. Now, there's stocks you could pick or leverage ETFs that you could really maximize the gains on natural gas. What is this? Here's the gold to silver ratio. It's fallen down. I don't know why so much, but well, gold's been trading sideways down in a downward trend for weeks and months now. And that's why. But this will pop. Well, actually, if silver gets squeezed, then this will continue to fall back down. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to go back up when gold starts rallying again after the silver squeeze, right? All right, here's what's really interesting. I've been looking at this, and a lot of people don't look at this. And I've been talking about this for years. The oil, WTI crude, the correlation between that and gold. Well, oil's been rallying for weeks now, and it hit $60. I was hoping it would dip, and then the market would crash, and then it would fall back down. But it looks like I said, things are changing. They're rushing the stimulus. That might just make honestly, guys, that and the fact that as soon as weather gets warm, everyone's going to start traveling because they've been cooped up for a year. And oil might just take off to like $100 a barrel real quick by the beginning of the summer. And I took profits on one of my ETFs, leverage ETFs. I shouldn't have. I didn't miss out on too much. I could buy it back. Either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, if oil keeps this trend, which I'm thinking it's going to, that's going to shoot metals even higher. I mean, this is the perfect storm. Not just for a silver squeeze, but a gold squeeze. Guys, this spring and summer is going to be like, you're going to be happy. I think we're going to make more than we even thought imaginable. Unfortunately for everyone else, you're going to be looking at $4 a gallon, if not $5. And I'm not even talking about California. I'm talking about across the board. So then they're going to, guess what? Do more stimulus, because people are going to be like, I can't afford to drive anywhere. Crazy stuff. Crazy. All right. Yeah, here's WTI. It's at a resistance, but it might just blow right through it. Listen, I bought USO in the spring when it was negative. I took a huge profit on it, but it went up. Like that ETF, I don't know what it went up, but oil alone went up 60. Wait, what? 24,000%? No, that doesn't make sense. That's because it went to the negative. I have to do it from zero. Where's zero? It went up roughly. What? Something's wrong. Well, technically, I guess if it went from zero to $61, I guess you could say it went up 11,700%. You know what? How's that looking? Alright, here's USO. I literally bought it at the bottom. If you guys remember in the private group. Yeah, it went up 140%. 135. Alright. But if you buy a call option, that's like a 13x. Alright, let's look at gold. Okay, the oscillators. If you look at the MACD for gold on the weekly, looks good. It's set up to have another rally. Same with silver. It just had a golden cross on the MACD. Same with the TM squeeze. All my oscillators, they're looking pretty good. Even the RSI for gold is sold, or the volume. Okay, the bull flag, should have saved it. It's looking good for a breakout. And this major support actually held. I was hoping it wouldn't. Guys, I was really hoping gold would dump back down to like 1750, 1650. That'd be amazing for one more dip buy in the mining stocks. But the mining stocks have all sold off. Some have gone up in the past week. But the opportunity's still there. They're still down from their all-time highs in 2020. If you guys remember, we did massively well. Really, really, really good in spring and summer of 2020 for mining stocks. Like, 10 baggers, leverage ETFs doing, I don't know, like 5x, crazy stuff. Silver, it looks like it's testing $30. I'm telling you, as soon as it breaks 30, it's gonna run. It's gonna cause that short squeeze, and then, it's looking good. Chart looks bullish. Shimoku Cloud green on the weekly. Looks like it's gonna ramp up high. So that's probably why they came out on SLV and said, hey, listen, we might not have the physical. And if futures go limit up, it's going to be wild. Now, how high can silver go? I could easily go to its all-time high, which was $50. Right now we're at 28. I'll talk about that in a second. Let's finish up with gold here. Let's just take a look at the monthly. I'm curious. Oh. Well, it's not quite a cup and handle. It kind of looks good enough. If I take it from the all-time high of 2011, we would make a giant cup and handle on gold. It's close enough to where you could say it's a cup and handle, which is hilarious. Which could shoot gold to like, I don't know. I could go to like 2,400, 27, 3,000 an ounce. Do you understand what that'll do to the mining stocks? Especially if people can't buy any more physical, then the only resort they have is mining stocks. Could you imagine when these institutional money goes into mining stocks, and sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, home offices for millionaires. It's going to be crazy. And this is why it's going to be crazy. And it's just GDX and GDXJ. And you know what? They reallocated GDX and GDXJ. GDXJ is supposed to be the junior miners. Basically, it's not. It's a bunch of large mining stocks. So it doesn't even represent the junior sector. The junior sector is going to go to like out of this reality. That's how high they're going to go. But to put into perspective, I keep showing you guys because you guys don't get it. I have on average about 1,500 to 2,000 people watch my videos across all platforms. I should have 2,000 people in my private group. Because if you guys really understood the opportunity. But hey, I'll show you one more time. GDXJ. The last time it was around $24 or $22. Gold was around $900. Okay? $900 an ounce. Right now, it is at $1,800. And if it shoots back above 2,000, its previous all-time high, which was like 5 months ago in 2020, and it goes to like, I don't know, 3,000 an ounce, for GDXJ to catch up to it, it's going to do like a 10 bagger, an ETF, and a shitty ETF. The GDX. The last time its current price is $80. Last time it was $80, gold was around $1,200, $1,100. Do you understand the significance of how undervalued the mining stocks are? I don't think any of you do. I don't think any of you really do. All right. Now, I could do silver, but I think you guys get the point. I don't want to get you guys too excited. If silver goes to its all-time high, and then it goes past it, $100, whatever, which is lowballing in my opinion, because there's not that much silver left, guys, and everyone needs it, and they need like a lot of it, and there's no way to get more without the price going up, without the price of silver going to the moon. So, and they can't make it. They can't make fake silver. Only a supernova star implosion could make it. So these mining companies are going to be worth a fortune. Literally. So, the silver mining stocks are even more undervalued. Okay? Even the ones that I hold that have done a 5x or a 10 bagger in the past like year to 2 years, I'm still holding on to them because I know they have so much more upside potential. That's how crazy I think this could be. All right. But listen, I'm biased, right? I'm technically a silver gold bug, right? I'm biased. Maybe I'm full of shit. Just go talk to your financial advisor. All right. The cryptos. I don't know. Ethereum has a 9 sell on the weekly. It's on its second. Listen, if this week can't get back above its previous all-time high of like 1,872, then this might correct hard, or at least a 4-week correction. And I don't know how deep it'll be. Hopefully it'll get below $1,000. Maybe 1,000 will be like support. I don't know. I'll get there. I'll post it in the private group. Bitcoin, I mean, they're both parabolic. They need some sort of pullback or something, right? Now I understand the float. The float is getting thinner. The FOMO is getting more intense. On Google Trends, it's not really trending like it used to. There's more upside potential. I don't know. It hit like 50,000 Bitcoin. Maybe now it'll have a correction or pullback. I really don't know, because the float is getting even less. But there is a problem. These transaction fees are just, they're not going down. They're not going to go down until the price falls. And even when the price falls, the transaction fees are probably going to go up even more because people are going to be panicking and moving their coins around, right? So I do not know. Maybe when people get their stimmies, they're going to push crypto even higher, which could happen in the next coming weeks. It's difficult. It really is. Yeah, so I'm just going to monitor. I'm going to monitor it. I don't know what else to tell you. Honestly, I don't care, because I have that altcoin that addresses probably the number one concern that's going to happen this decade, which is essentially, where can you find yield? Nowhere, because of artificially low interest rates. The bond market isn't going to give you any yield. CDs aren't going to give you any yield. Stocks, you don't really get any yield unless you get dividends. There's few in between that give you dividends, especially in the climate, a high inflationary climate. Actually, mining stocks are going to give you big time dividends, and those are going to be really awesome moving forward. But this new crypto that is being hidden on purpose, because a lot of people maybe are buying it. Maybe a lot of people are afraid of what it's going to do to the altcoin market. I think it's going to suck the capital out of all these shitcoins, and it's going to be amazing. So, and it addresses a market that's over 7 trillion as of now, and it's probably going to, this market is going to go even higher. So, and in the past, well, it only has a year history or two. It actually went up when these went down. Now, if Ethereum, let's say, and Bitcoin crashes hard, no, it will also dump with it. Right now, it's already fallen. It's pulled back a lot. It's had a decent correction. If these dump hard, then you'll get one more big buying opportunity to accumulate some. But if the crypto market pulls back and there's no like sudden correction, the velocity of the correction is not steep, then it might actually rally. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, listen. Check out all the links below. Go to my website. Sign up for the private group. Follow directions. It's a few sentences. You must follow the directions. When you get in the private group, you get a download, right? Instantly. You get an email download. You get 2 downloads. There's a trading academy in there. There's a bunch of information, articles and stuff on mining stocks. Then you have to watch like a 3-hour long intro video, my strategy. But you could probably cut that in half and start it halfway through. Then you have to go into the files folder. There's like 50, 60, 70 files in there. Okay, and look at those. And then scroll up through the alerts room and see what you've missed. I know this is going to take some time. By the way, when you first sign up and you get that email a couple days later to go into the Patreon group for donations monthly, you have to send me a couple things. And then I will send you the links to get into the chat groups. Why don't half the people don't do that? They just sign up and then they don't follow directions and send me the information I ask. And then guess what? Then I'll message you and then you won't see the message. You have to go back into Patreon and message me or see if I messaged you. All right? So I'm going to leave you with this.